Howdy, howdy, howdy. Okay, so here we are. Trying to get my skills updated. Not just my personal skills with doing all this stuff, but also the skills that my players are getting when I generate the data. Now, when I generate the data, what's happening is I have every player is supposed to get every skill. And some of the skills are I'm finding I thought I had set it up where none of the skills should be zero. But I'm finding that's not true. And it's not a matter of miscalculations. It's just as I what the heck was that? I've been finding some rather large spiders in my house lately. Like now they're starting to move stuff. No, I had to spray again. I got some of that Miss Muffet stuff online and did the trick. But no, Miss Muffet is one of the higher rated ones, but it's not like anywhere around here. Nobody sells it, so I had to order it online. What do you spray around the house? Okay, so early diversion. I jumped the tracks right away. This is what happens when I come in hot. Boom, jump the tracks. Okay, so anyway, some of my skills apparently can be zero, and it makes sense that they would be. And I'm just trying to figure out if that's okay for certain other skills. For example, the one I'm working on right now is break tackle. Okay, so the skill of breaking a tackle. Tackle is not it's the enhancement, the bonus, the ability of a player to get out of a tackle, right? To elude, to evade, to be evasive, whatever. And it's whatever that player has in terms of a break tackle. It's going to help them to avoid being tackled. And the primary skill, tackle, is a defensive thing. Everybody's got that too. Some players are better than others. Now that number should never be zero, and it should actually be a decent number. When all is said and done, it should be a value that's going to be the value that's going to be used in determining whether they succeed in tackling. Now, in general, tackling is a mostly successful thing. In professional football, as well as college and probably any time, it's mostly successful. Now, in Pee Wee sports, it might be only like 60% successful, but it's more successful than not. Because if it wasn't, scores would be insane, right? So every play, more often than not, they're tackled. Even if they're moving consistently, they get tackled at 2 yards, at 5 yards, at 8 yards, at 9 yards, but they're getting tackled. So tackles are successful more often than they're not. Now, it's a player's ability to elude or make those tackles more complicated, is the trick. So the better the running back is, or the better the player is at avoiding a tackle, the more they can maybe get a couple extra yards here and there. Anyway, this value, the break tackle ability, is a value that goes against or goes in counter to break tackle to kind of lower their chances of making the tackle. The problem is I'm trying to decide if zero is okay here, because I am getting some players that are very bad at break tackle, or even negative values. And it tends to be quarterbacks, right? So quarterbacks, and it's because quarterbacks don't rush very often, and they tend to have a negative yards. Some of them have let's just say it's not unheard of that quarterbacks would have a negative break tackle skill as a result of it, because break tackle is built off the stats that determine a player's running ability, or that come from the stats that are a player's running ability. So running backs, they're never going to have a negative break tackle. Receivers rarely have a negative break tackle, but they also don't rush very often. So it is possible that you maybe a receiver did a sweep or a reverse or something, got tackled behind the line of scrimmage, and that's all they did. But it is possible, since it's so rare for them to actually run, that they could have a negative break tackle. But it uses their yards after catch ability as well. So, in fact, if they have more yards after catch and they have yards per rush, then the break tackle is built actually off of their yards per catch, because it's just a more common thing for them. So, negative for receiver, pretty hard. If a player has 0 receptions and 0 attempts, they're just going to get the worst break tackle, which could be negative if I allow quarterbacks to have negative. And mind you, a negative break tackle just that's just that I'm trying to decide. Negative break tackle is going to be small, right? It's when I say negative, you're seeing values here that are like negative 0.06, negative 0.06. You got a couple of guys that are getting into that negative zone, negative 0.13. Chris Sims, again, quarterbacks. These are all quarterbacks. These are all guys that had positive values. I don't even know if I'm showing the break tackles on these guys, because these are all positives. I told it to only to call out the negatives. So this is 0 and negative again. So again, it's pretty rare to have negatives. But I'm trying to decide if I want to allow negatives, in the sense of, should I let quarterbacks have a negative? It's cold down here. I gotta get my blanket. So we'll see how good I hold up today. I ran, I don't know, a little over 7 miles, 7.5 miles this morning, and I'm feeling okay right now. I got up a little early to do it, and I haven't power napped. So we'll see how I hold up. I haven't had a ghost in a day or two, so I'm going to treat myself with a ghost today. So anyway, let's see if I can get these done. I got to go through and at least validate that 0 is okay, because I have a lot of guys getting 0s. And what I mean is, look, when my player pool generates, you see some of these are 1484. That's how many players are valid for the game, or the data I'm pulling in. Now there's like 1,600 players in my data, but they're missing vital information that allows me to build stats for them. So they're getting pulled out. They're going into the exceptions table. So theoretically, all of my skill should have 1484, so I got big play potential. That's a value that could probably be 0, but I don't know if I want it to be. I mean, I think everybody should have big play potential. Defenders should have big play potential, all of them, right? I think all defenders should have a big play potential. Interception is a big play. A sack is a big play. A stuff is a big play. I mean, there's a number of things that are considered big plays. Big play potential is in effect that when they have the opportunity to do something that that falls into the category of big play, they have a potential value that increases to allow them the opportunity to actually accomplish that big play. So this player is better. So big play potential is going to do better at certain points of the game, or at least they have a chance to. And the higher that value is, the more it's going to affect their success rate, in those scenarios. And it, like I said, you know, you could have even I might even put some special conditions. I want that big play potential to be a thing that has an effect at even at different times, like a pass defense on fourth down attempt, a block attempt on a field goal. I mean, these are all things that can go to big play potential. This is why defenders, they're all about the big play. The best players, you know, they rise to the occasion. Now on offense, you know, any play that's that's 10 yards or more is a big play, right? So, I mean, it's a first down. So you could maybe be like on maybe a fourth down attempt. That's big play potential for those. That's when you might trigger any player who's active on a fourth down attempt. And maybe any catch that would be a first down. Maybe any break tackle that happens right around the first down marker. You know, those kind of things. Those are all big play potential firing points. Or maybe a big play is any catch that's, you know, over 15, 20 yards. Or one that would be a TD. Doesn't matter how long it is. It's a big play. You know, so that's the whole point of the big play potential. It's going to be a thing that all these players have a chance to trigger. Now, the better they are with that, the more those key plays, those superstars are going to have an opportunity to succeed. I feel like 418 might be too small of a number, even if some do have 0. Like, you know, like a cause of a fumble is a big play, right? So, I mean, anybody on defense should have a big play potential. If they're not getting one and they're on defense, then something's probably not right with my logic, for one thing. I might have to fix that. On offense, yeah, see, that one's tricky. What's a big play that an offensive lineman can't really ever execute a big play? I mean, they might, you know, do their job, but they're not going to be the big play. They're not going to do it. I mean, they may help contribute to it, but it's not like they are going to be credited with a big play. So that one's kind of tough, at least with the offensive lineman. Everybody else should have. So if you really think about it, 90% of the players on the field should have a big play potential, which means 418 out of 1,400 is probably a bit small. Punt power, everybody's getting that. Punt skill, that's falling down. I may have to look at what's going on there and see why. But let's go look at punt skill. I feel like that one is supposed to be based on the weakest punter. And I can't see any of the punters should have a 0. So let's go look at punt skill. I was trying to work on break tackle. As you see, I can't seem to figure out why. And it's only because I think maybe 0 is allowed, and I have to decide if negative. All right, maybe I should fix one thing at a time. Let's not jump the tracks yet. Let's go finish break tackle. Let's at least confirm that it can be a 0 value. Now that I know my problem children are quarterbacks, and I don't really want to give people negatives. And it's based on, can I think of anything else? Maybe, maybe I should consider returns. That should add a few more in there. Because how often do people run the balls? They're doing kick returns, punt returns, rushing, passing. if I pulled returns into this, punt returns and kick returns, that could allow me some more players to get some more stats. Yeah, let's do that. Let's bring punt returns and kick returns in. I don't know. Is there any other time that players could return the ball? I don't know, can't think of anything. All right, so we're gonna go punt returns. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I have a punt return and a kick return average, but it's not supposed to be adjusted. This is, actually, you know what? I don't even know why I'm using adjusted. Why am I using adjusted? You know what? So, here's the thing. I have punt return, adjusted yards per rush and adjusted yards after catch per rush, per reception. As external functions because they're used in more than one place. Until right now, punt return and kick return were not used in more than one place. So I may have to go, I may have to change that. Special teams. And I am doing an adjusted. That's what this is. This is essentially the punt return scale being set to adjusted. So what I should do where's punt return? Oh, I have punt return average up here. So I think what I'll do, I'll go down here. And then I'm going to actually change this to adjusted punt return average. Which doesn't exist yet, but I'm going to go make it exist. Gosh dang it. Then I have to go over to my offensive skills. Offensive stats. No, this is the one I want. So basically it's this. It's just doing the thing where it gets the rush attempts and the average or whatever I'm doing, and then I'm getting the value I need. Right. Okay. So I need to create this again. We're going to go up here to my, that's kicking, punt net average, punts inside, punt stats, kicking stats, QB stats, receptions. Oh, wait. Oh, that's going to be under the defensive skills. Defensive stats. Kick return and punt return. Here we go. We have a punt return average and kick return average. This should be get adjusted kick return average. Good job. Get adjusted return average. All right, so that kind of brings it all in line. Gets my punt returns, punt return averages. It's only good because the names I have are pretty consistent, so that helps. Let's go. You know, I do got to do one thing here because I did not do this earlier. Gotta log out, log in. Go microservices. Let's see, Fantasy football manager, and what else? Game development. And program. There we go. Okay. Probably need to update this so that we can. Wait, what happened here? Oh, did it? Oh, we already kept that. Why did it do that? Did it do the same thing with kick return? It did. I don't know, weird, man. I don't know what that was all about, but okay. All right, so now I can go over to my special team skills, And now we can say we have that, that, and this is just honestly, it's already doing all this, so yeah, I just need this. In fact, I probably don't even need that. Let's just do this. Implements the significant adjustment. Simplifies the kick returns. And this one can go players stats dot get adjusted kick return bonus. Allows me to get rid of this and this. Makes this even more simple. The bonuses, it's these have significant functionality, but they're fairly simple tools. All right, so the brake tackle. So we now have the adjusted. And why adjusted punt return average, adjusted punt return average. Oh, am I not? Okay, why is this complaining? Defined? Just because I'm not using them yet? I can't, here's the thing, I can't have my brake, punt return average and kick return average are going to be way different as far as it goes. So what I should probably do is, oh gosh, how do I do that? I think it doesn't matter. I might give them all the max, but then I have to I think what I may have to do, how do I do this? I want them to all be, oh, you know what I might have to do is scale them all to like a value. So all of them should be scaled within the same range of data. So like maybe, no, that doesn't work. Oh, I know. I could probably, maybe I scale them to the smaller, which is what, yards per rush is probably, if I want them, I want to use the biggest, I want every player to be allowed to use the biggest value in their results, but they all need to be following the same logic for their break tackle purposes. So whatever I use, I have to scale them. So some people may not have kick return, but if they do have kick return, I don't want them to have a giant number simply because they had good kick returns. Maybe I scale them according to the rushes. Like I need to squish their numbers down to fit within the rush attempts. Maybe just punt and kick get get down to all right, let's do this. I think this works. We are going to scale it. Adjusted punt return average equals scale to value, scale value to range, no, scale value to range, and it's going to be no, not punt return average. We're going to go break tackle call it break tackle scale. No, we're going to call it break tackle mod. Sure. That's it. No, we won't call it a mod. Mod is like a fixed value control number. Okay, we're going to break tackle control. Nah, whatever. Okay, so then we're going to have the adjusted punt return average. Oh, wait, am I doing this wrong? Oh, I'm doing this wrong. Never mind. Just the value. Oh, okay. Never mind. Let's do it that way. And it's 0 to, we're going to say get scale max value. We're going to say yards per rush. I don't think that already exists, does it? So we want it to be scaled no matter what the values are. Get scale max value return average, comma adjusted return average. Oops. Maybe I will call it adjusted because it is adjusted. Oh, the lowercase g. Okay. Okay, see if that's any better. I still want it to be scaled off of yards per rush. We're going to scale them this way so everything gets squished, whatever their values are. I should almost scale everything that way so everybody gets to fit in the same category. But I feel like it might be a little generous to be using. I mean, I feel yards after catch, I'm going to leave yards after catch not scaled against rush. But this way they all get the max value of the one that they have, whatever they're best at. And that's what we'll base this on. And let's see if this comes up with a better output. Wait a minute, math.max can't have more than what? Oh, it only does 2? That's weird. Okay, so if I want to do the max of max, I have to do something like this. Kind of weird, but whatever. There we go. So this will be max of max. We're going to get the max of this, max of that, max of whatever one of those is, and it'll give us our max, and we'll get the max of all 4 of them. I guess that's it. So let's see if I get a better result. This time, I think I'm going to turn off. Let's turn it off, just so we get some faster results here. Break tackle skill. And we got some bugaboos here. Let's go see what we got here. Somebody's bugging out on me, man. Where's the problem? Oh, never mind. Guess I could just send yards per rush in. Honestly, I think part of the problem is too, I'm going to have to, I can say, go ahead and let this update this for me. update the function so that it works similarly to the get scale max value or min value. And that if is passed as the value, it will not set or update the values, but rather return the current max value. In difference to the get min value function. Alright, while it does that, I'm going to have to pass in here. I should probably update, set this in here too. I'm going to have to set it. I'm going to get scale min value. What is this? Yards per rush? Everybody's playing off of the adjusted. Yeah, let's do adjusted. Should I just assume assume it works? That's risky, right? Let's just see. If value is 99, treat as flag to return the existing max value without updating. Oh, you know what? I didn't think about it. It already had it. And it is. It's supposed to be higher numbers, not lower numbers. I mean, I could put negative 99 as just consistency. You know, I think I will. I'm gonna stick with it. I was thinking about going with a positive number versus a negative, but I think the odds are I'll never have a low number, and a max value I could have. So I'm gonna go with value negative 99. So really, that's all it did. I already had that functionality there. I didn't know that. So that was minor. All right, so let's see what it does. See how many I get. So I got brake tackle currently at 444 that have values that aren't 0. Or less than 0. You know what? I'm gonna set 0 as the minimum number, but I'm hoping we'll do one more here. We're gonna let math.max go crazy. Math.max 0, comma. The point of this one is just so I don't get negatives. I'm not going to have anybody have a negative brake tackle value. I keep going back and forth on that. Thing is, I don't want players who don't have stats to get stuck with a negative. And that's the thing. It's like, do you really think a linebacker who picks up a ball is going to have a negative break tackle? I mean, they're better than a quarterback, right? I mean, he's probably going to get himself some positive yardage. Now, he may not have a very high ball control value. He might fumble because he's not used to handling the ball, but still. Oops. Oops, we got a break. That's all right. That's an easy fix. I'm sure it's easy fix. Let's go refresh this. Now we're going to go to my scaling values. I got to drop this. I think I may have to come up with when I do a rebuild or something where I dump the scaling values automatically. Oh, that was a mess, huh? Okay, special teams. What are you complaining about now? What's the problem, man? Where's the bug? Not enough arguments. Oh. This one I think is expecting control modifiers. And something else. What is that expecting? You know what? Do I need games played? This logic doesn't use games played. It's an unused. All right, let's try again. Boo! You suck! Cannot use int gameplay. What? Oh, because I'm not. Oh, do I need games played? All right, let's try again. And we're off. We're dropping data like crazy, ladies and gentlemen, coming down the street with our hundreds of lines of code and coming down the corner and adjusted punts and adjusted receptions and adjusted YPRs, calling, and all the data we need. Here we come, driving down the road, going as fast as we possibly can. I've got 1,400 players to run through. That's a whole lot of players to run through, folks. It's a lot of calls to the YPRs. I probably should. It's a lot of calls. And I'm not sure what I got running here. Why I have so many? It's a little too many. Somebody's still getting a call to true on the right logs. Nope, now we're redoing it. First time through is setting all of the ranges. Second time through is building everybody's values off of those ranges. Because it does affect where people fall in the range if the range changes. Maybe I should use the round function. I've been not rounding because I want to see the whole numbers, but really, I got a lot of numbers that are like 0.333, a lot of like infinite level values, and around a 3 would probably just be easier to read. Like maybe 3 decimal places. I have a few things that go down into the thousandth easily. At least 3 decimal places would be required. I don't think I have anybody who's going down below 1,000th. But we are almost done, that much I know. Well, it'll pause in a minute and then it'll just do its math checks as to who got set. And was I 444 for my break tackle skills? I'm hoping that ups to 500 or so. I mean, really it comes down to people who actually carry the ball. And it should be all defenders. Should have something. And I think, oh no, not all defenders. What was I going to say? All defenders should have a big play potential. That's what I was talking about earlier. Most players, except probably offensive line, are going to have a positive big play potential. Definitely runs faster if I stop trying to print out so much crap. Okay, so we're done running all the stats. Now it's going to do some counts, tell me who got what. And really the only one I changed was break tackle. So it's going to come down to, hopefully I should get more people with a break tackle skill. Instead of 444, I'm hoping to get upwards of 500 and some. Should only be a minute. My skill rating system is not working. That's what that last one is. Use default ratings. No, fail to load from skill control modifiers. Whatever my ratings tool is, it's not working right. It's the next thing I have to get fixed. First, I get all my people to get the records that the stats they need, and then I can do my ratings and get my ratings. Ratings should be easy enough. I'm just not messing with the function right now. But what it's gonna do is set everybody according to. So that's probably not gonna change much there. Brake tackle, is it any bigger? Any bigger? Where the heck is it? Kick. Pass blocking. Brake tackle. Oh, it's still 444. Nobody got more from the adding kick returns? Nobody? Huh. That's weird.